Hello, SquirrelTribe. It is Monday, my dudes. Happy Monday. So just a heads up, if the Jeep starts a rocking, it's not because anything fun is happening in it. It's because the wind is between 25 to 30 miles per hour outside the Jeep right now. Unknown reasons. There's no storms. It's not supposed to rain. It's just extremely windy here today in Okaloosa County, Florida. So I want to talk to you guys about kind of sort of the economy. I'm just going to put it like that. There's a lot of talk about how the economy is basically going to shit and how, brick and mortar stores are closed. And we've talked about it numerous times over the past couple of years, how the rise of internet is going to be the fall or the demise of brick and mortar, right? More stores are moving online. With online purchasing, you get deals if you buy online versus in the store. I know Vitamin Shop does it. I know Target does it. I know a lot of other places do it where if you buy online, you get a better deal than if you buy in the store sometimes, right? And then, of course, you have Amazon and you have eBay and you have Etsy and you have all these other internet-based stores, right? So when stores like Walmart and a lot of other locations over the past couple of years started saying, hey, we're going to shut down some of our brick and mortar stores. We're going to close these doors down. One, for, theft reasons. A lot of it was due to theft, they said. Other times it was because the economy in that surrounding area had pretty much gone to trash over the pandemic because people were laid off. There was not money coming into households. Therefore, money could not go out of households into surrounding stores. There were a ton of stores in Portland, I know, that closed down, like an entire city in Portland, like a small little section of Portland closed down all of their stores almost. You had a Cracker Barrel that went out. You had Walmart went out of business. You had, I think, a Kohl's department store went out of business, all in this one little neighborhood. And that's detrimental to these locations, right? And you see these things happening in all these small pockets across the United States. I'm sure it's happening all across the world, but we focus here on the United States because that's where we live. So you see all these places, even where I live in Okaloosa County in Florida, I can drive up and down Highway 98 and I can see a lot of commercial buildings that are just sitting abandoned and empty. And this is a touristy location. You would think because of how much tourism this place gets year round. November, December, not nearly as much, obviously, because it's cold, but you get snowbirds here. But you would think because there is such a high volume of people at any given time that it would be easy for commercial locations to stay in business. There are shopping centers where numerous stores are out. There's main strip centers that are out, like on the main road itself, that are just closed down and have been closed down for months. And so visually, you and I, people of the United States, look at this and go, oh man, maybe there is something wrong with the economy if there's no businesses taking over these places that have closed down. If there's so many open commercial locations, does that mean there is something wrong with our economy? And should we be scared? Should we be worried? And generally speaking, I would say maybe. I wouldn't say we should be scared to be worried about the economy. I would say you should be a little more worried if you happen to be considered lower class, because those are the people who are going to be hit the hardest. I saw this video from Andrew Tate. And I may not always agree with the way Andrew Tate sees things, especially when it comes to how he sees women. It was the same thing with like Kevin Samuels, if you guys remember him before he passed away. I don't always agree with the way they see females. As a female, it's hard for me to, see our species, ladies, as a negative. And that's how these guys see us sometimes. But anyway, not the point. Kevin Samuels does have a lot of really good points on other topics, though. And he had this video that came out, and he was saying how only the middle class really truly, I just realized this is completely crooked, only the middle class really truly worry about money and care about money. The way he phrased it is, I don't have the video to show you guys. If I can find it, I'll put a link in the pinned comment if I can find it when I'm done here. But basically what he said was, if you happen to be super poor or homeless and you steal a car and you get a speeding ticket, you don't care. You don't care about the money because you know you're not going to pay it. It's not a big deal. If you're super rich and you're speeding and you get a speeding ticket, you don't care because you have plenty of money to pay it. You're just going to pay it. Those two ends of the spectrum don't care about money the way middle class cares about money. The middle America, I think, is how he phrased it. But basically, you and I, if we get a speeding ticket, we're thinking, oh no, how much do we have to pay? Is it worth trying to pay a lawyer to go to court to get out of the speeding ticket? What's it going to do to my driver's license? Because without it, I can't get to work, whatever else. So you and I stay more stressed about money than those in the very, very lower end of the money spectrum and the very high end of the money spectrum. And I thought it was an interesting take that he had, where the middle class are the ones who are the ones paying the most taxes, worried the most about paying taxes, being charged the most for everything. If you're super wealthy, you get a lot of stuff for free. And if you're completely broke, you'll get a lot of stuff for free. People give you stuff. So it's us here in the middle that honestly, we're the ones who, in my opinion, keep this entire country going. Yet we're also the ones who get crapped on the most and have the most issues with keeping this entire country going, right? So when I see all these empty businesses, I think to myself, okay, well, maybe we're shifting. Maybe we're moving away from brick and mortar, which we've talked about, because companies don't want to pay for the employees with all this AI that's coming in and robots and everything. They don't need the employees. They don't need brick and mortar, whatever. Or companies don't want to pay the insurance to have employees. They don't want to have to pay the 401ks, anything else. So it makes sense for brick and mortar to close down. And then out of nowhere, this company that was founded in 1958 and then filed bankruptcy and went completely out of business is now popping back up. Ames Department Stores. I don't know, my nose itches. I don't know if you guys have heard of them before. AMES, Ames Department Stores. They were founded in 1958 and then they expanded. They bought up a lot of other little small companies and different retail chains, if you will. They expanded through Zayre, I don't know how to say it, Z-A-Y-R-E, Zayre stores in 1988. They had, their slogan was bargains by the bagful. That's a slogan they used from 1995 to 2002, which was like a 50-50 cotton poly blend kind of shirt thing. But their slogan was bargains by the bagful. You can't get bargains by the bagful anywhere these days. One bag of groceries is like a week's worth of paycheck for a lot of people. But Ames Department Stores, they closed down and then now suddenly they're back. In December of 2022, Mullinex Group, who owns the assets of Bradley's Department Stores PLC, announced that Ames Department Stores would be returning after 21 years with new locations opening in spring of 2023. Well, that didn't happen. Spring 2023 came and went and no openings. But they are coming back after 21 years of being gone, after filing bankruptcy. And my first thought was, why? Why are you coming back? Why not be something completely different? Is it because you're hoping that the name Ames, it's going to bring some nostalgia? Like if Kmart came back tomorrow, I would go to Kmart. I loved Kmart. Kmart was the bomb when I was little. It was the shiznit, if you will. I loved going to Kmart. All that and a bag of chips, whatever the phrase was back in the day. But so maybe a lot of people see the name Ames and for them it's a nostalgia thing. They went to Ames in, 1958, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, all the way up until 2002, 2001 when it closed down. So they closed, it says the New York Times reported in 2002 that Ames closed its stores a year after filing for bankruptcy for the second time, by the way, bankruptcy protection after having difficulty competing with stores like Walmart, Target, and Kmart. 2002, they could not keep up with Kmart and Target and Walmart, and so they closed their stores. For them to be coming back 21 years later, Kmart's gone. Walmart's closing a lot of retail locations. Target has been closing a lot of retail locations. So does Ames, the people who run it, Mullinex Group, which technically Silver Knight Group is the American side of Mullinex Group that is running Ames. Mullinex Group is actually based in London in the UK. But do they see it? Are they looking at it and going, well, maybe there's less competition now. You have all these other places closing. Sears has closed down. JCPenney stores are almost gone. Bed Bath & Beyond has gone bankrupt and closed. You have so many different locations all over the place that are closing down. So maybe this older store, Ames, is like, hey, now's a perfect time to come back. We may get immediate foot traffic based off the nostalgia of who we were, where we were, because they were all over the U.S. and they were an American company at the time. Now, not so much because they are owned by a UK firm, if you will. But maybe they're thinking there's plenty of retail space available. All right. They plan on opening 35 stores by 2025. Starting in 2025, the first one should open, and they're planning on having all of them finished by 2027, if I remember correctly. I do have the website, the article here, but they're looking at it like there's so much commercial retail space sitting around unused, right? There are going to be plenty of people, plenty of investors who own these retail spaces who are going to be like, listen, I know interest rates are through the roof right now to finance a house, a home, a retail space, anything. So we'll give you a better deal on this retail space. Maybe if you buy it outright, we'll give you a better deal. If you lease it with us, we'll give you a better deal. So maybe the people over Ames, Silver Knight Group or SKG are like, okay, well, let's go. Let's find these different locations throughout the country that have open space and the need where the community needs somebody to come back in. These communities where everybody else is left. Maybe all you have is a Dollar General, because Dollar General has popped up all over the place. There's like 9,000 Dollar General stores, probably more than that. I don't remember the number. But Dollar General stores went through and they're like every couple of miles in a lot of different cities, a lot of different places, which makes it very hard for regular grocery stores to come in because it would be oversaturated, right? So maybe Ames is like, well, they need a department store. They don't have a Walmart because they're covered with Dollar Generals and stuff like that. They need us to come in. So that could be the case. Hold on, let me pull up this article. But the fact that there is a company coming back after 21 years after filing bankruptcy honestly gives me a good feeling about the economy. It says to me that they're just stupid because they filed bankruptcy twice and maybe third time's a charm. I don't know. But it says good things to me that they see the potential to reopen, to bring themselves back here to the good old US of A and to spread themselves out across the country. They're not going to just one state. They're going all over the place, which to me is a very good sign. Now, it could be because we have more population now. So maybe, hopefully, they're going to go through and hire people, Americans, hopefully, not work visa people. You know what I'm saying? They're going to hire Americans to work, and it's not going to be self-checkouts. It's not going to be robots. It's not going to be, those floor sweepers at Sam's Club, the little robot things that go through and play janitor. Hopefully, they will come back in and they will do it right. They will come back in and they will do it right, and they will hire people. Everything will be people-based. So according to this, you guys, here's the logo. Do you guys remember that logo? Like, it looks familiar to me, and I'm assuming at some point in my life I went to an Ames store when I was younger, possibly. I just don't remember it, but it looked very familiar when I brought it up. But they are planning to open 35 brick and mortar locations across the U.S. Now, Ames said on its website that it will be opening 7 distribution locations by store locations to help handle deliveries. We'll create a new website for online orders, so they will have online orders. There will be an Ames cafe at all 35 locations, and some locations will even have a pharmacy. So it sounds like, again, like a Target, Walmart, Kmart style thing, since they're putting in the cafe, and some of them will have a pharmacy. It says 35 locations are planned to open starting in June of 2026. I was off a year, sorry. Through the end of 2027. There are also plans to open more locations in 2028. The list of locations hasn't been released yet. Once it comes up, I'll find it and I will come back to this video and pin it in the comments, so you guys can always check back and see if it's been pinned or not. Now, former Ames chairman and CEO Joseph R. Ettore announced in 2002 that all of the 327 of its locations would close. The new stores would be a comeback for Ames. The closures led to 20,000 workers becoming unemployed. That was in 2002. So when they first filed bankruptcy the first time, it was after they took over Zayre, Z-A-Y-R-E, however you say that. It was after they took them over. They realized they'd kind of bitten off more than they could chew, so they filed bankruptcy. Then they went through and bought up even more companies and retail locations, and then realized, oh, we've done it again. And so they started closing stores. First, it was one called The Hill. They closed like 30 something locations of whatever that store was. Then every year they were closing more and more locations until the very last year they only had, I think they said they only had like 95 left open. I'm pulling that number out my butt. I'm not lying. I can't remember if it was 95 or like 59, somewhere in there. They didn't have that many left. And then they decided to file bankruptcy and they closed those last ones. So 20,000 people in total from beginning to end, employees were left jobless. Hopefully they're going to bring back that many people, not bring them back, but maybe that would be cool if they reached out and they're like, hey, I know it's been 21 years, but you want your job back, But hopefully they will have that high level of employment once again. It says here, that's in, actually. I had another thing. So I pulled up Mullinex Group trying to figure out who they were. And all I could find is they're based out of the UK, not really a bunch on them. I could not find anything, and I don't know why, but I couldn't find anything that let me know if there was any Vanguard or BlackRock hands in the cookie jar when it comes to Ames or not. But what I did find on govinfo.gov were the content details of the Ames department store's bankruptcy filing, which I thought was interesting, right? And I just want to point this out to you. Let's see if I can hold this up here and do this correctly. It's probably not going to work out very well, but we're going to try. So this is the, stay here, don't go anywhere. This is the bankruptcy filing, right? These are, all of these are lawyers for the top half of this list. These are all the lawyers that were there, but the bottom half of this list is all creditors, all people that Ames and their company owed money to. Because you have to think, I mean, look at how long this list is that was part of the bankruptcy filing. All these people that were owed money to. You had distributors, you had manufacturers, you had other clothing stores or stores, you had water and power and gas, and you had delivery companies, you had every kind of thing through here. This is huge. You don't realize when a company files bankruptcy, look how long we're scrolling, y'all. You don't realize when a company files bankruptcy, how many people are affected by it, which is what I've talked about before. And people are like, you know, boycott this, boycott that, don't go there. Cool. I understand the need to boycott to really get our point across on certain things, right? But you have to think in the long run, how many people are affected by literally every small little detail that a company makes? A company decides they want to stop selling one specific brand. Well, then if that's the only company that's selling that brand goes out of business. That's all the people who work at the brand. That's all the delivery drivers. That's all the places where they get their supplies from to make their brand. It's such a domino effect that it is why we are where we are, I think, because so many things closed down over the last few years due to numerous reasons, whether it was supply chain issues, whether it was lack of money, whether it was lack of, you know, customer support or trust in certain things, whether it was from changes that have been made by government or whatever else. So many things closed down and it affected so many people that then we got to a point where it's like, crap, you know, it feels like half of our country is unemployed, which is a massive exaggeration. But it feels that way when you don't see people in the store shopping the same way they used to, and you don't see people being employed the same way they used to be employed. All these little things have huge, huge ripple effects. So for Ames, when they filed their bankruptcy and closed down their stores, 327 stores, laid off 20,000 people, not only did 20,000 people from the stores get laid off, everybody that did anything with that, with the deliveries, with the manufacturing, with the bookkeeping, with the all of it, they all got the short end of the stick, right? So the fact, like I said, long way to get back to this, the fact that these stores are coming back in right now, to me, is a very, very positive sign for the country. Yes, there are still other places that are closing, but I think a lot of these other places that are closing down their stores is because they have oversaturated the market. Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, I think they're totally gone now. Walmarts and Targets, these ones that are closing down their locations, is because there's too many of them. They've oversaturated and they've made such a push for online ordering a lot of these things too, that they're like, oh crap, we kind of shot ourselves in the foot here. More people are going online to order, less people are coming into the stores. We don't really need this many stores, blah, blah, blah. So the fact that this location, this company is coming back in, to me, is a good thing. I think it says good things for our economy, and I hope that it is the new uptick in more brick and mortar stores coming back. I want to say mom and pop. I feel like you'll find more mom and pop places in touristy areas, honestly, because they can withstand it most of the time when it's a little slower, because they do have that influx of tourism who wants to come in and support, you know, something gimmicky, if you will, in tourist locations. But I do think that this is a very good sign for our economy. Maybe not for housing. I don't really talk real estate that often, but I do feel like our real estate economy is still going to be in the crapper, and it's going to be a difficult one to kind of get out of because the interest rates are so incredibly high. They're not planning on, from what I've seen, there's no plan on them going any lower in the next couple years. And it's going to be kind of one of those get in where you fit in, get it while you can housing markets, my opinion. You're going to see more people renting and leasing than they will be buying because it's going to be so difficult to buy. But it is what it is. Hopefully, though, with commercial real estate and businesses coming back, next thing we'll see is a swing with the housing market, and things will be working out better there for us as well. So that's it. I want to thank you for letting me have this conversation with y'all. Nothing, groundbreaking or whatever. I just thought it was very interesting, and I'm kind of excited about what it means for our economy in the future. So that's it, Squirrel Tribe. I love y'all. Have a happy rest of your Monday, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.